Hello and welcome back to Talk of the Townsends. I'm Benedict Townsend.
And I'm Hannah Townsend.
How you doing, Hannah Townsend?
Well, we've got, for video listeners, we've got Suki Townsend in the background of the shot. I've carefully positioned her. She loves to sit on this chair. I've carefully positioned her so she's in the background of the shot.
What a treat. And she knows that. And she definitely agreed to this. She just weirdly sat about 3 feet behind us. She's like, guys, I kind of wanted to be near you, but okay.
I posted a video the other day and we were like so giggly in it. I think we'd just been radiator shopping, a highlight of our life. And I don't know, we were just like laughing so much. And someone commented, and this isn't me calling out this commenter, it just was like a reflection for me. And they were like, weed and radiators, like the perfect combo or something like that.
Yeah.
And because that's just not something that's really in our sphere, it's just not something we think about. So it was funny to me to be like, oh, people might think we're high in this. And we weren't high and we don't smoke. But like, I just wouldn't have even ever thought that.
Can you remind me which video it was? I was so high I can't remember.
I was like, Happy Saturday. We're going to watch.
You kept trying to say Happy Saturday. You kept saying Happy Snatterday.
Yeah.
This is my, I just snotted. This is my perfect Saturday. We're about to watch
You've got to try that one again. My perfect Snatterday.
We're about to watch the final 15 minutes of Beef. I got a cup of tea. Suki's here. Benedict's here. We've been to look at radiators today.
But it was just like a funny reflection that like when things aren't in your, like I wouldn't have even considered people might have thought that we had like taken something and had been recording.
But that's the thing, man. Weed people, it's a whole lifestyle.
Yeah.
Especially if you live in like, California or somewhere where it's like legal. It's like a hobby. It's like a whole thing.
I know. I mean, we've never even taken an edible.
We haven't, no. We are high on the greatest drug of all, radiator shopping. Let me tell you, if you haven't done it, it is...
When we went...
It left me a little hot and cold.
Right. When we went to LA, like I kind of did want to, but I worried that I would feel sick and it would ruin the whole trip.
But everything I hear about edibles is like... it was way too intense and then I was in a nightmare. Because I feel like people don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, but I don't think one gummy, it's not going to kill us.
Well, today on the show, we're going to find out.
If we ever go somewhere where it's legal, maybe we should.
We're so cool, me and you. Just a couple of epic 32-year-olds with their podcast and their cat.
Who may one day take an edible gummy.
That's right.
In a legal country.
If any police officers are listening, we're thinking about doing something in a legal capacity.
Oh, the radiator shop, guys.
Have we told that story about Amsterdam? Can we tell that story?
Oh, wait, it's legal.
Yeah.
Are we going to tell it?
We should tell that story.
Well, people think we're drug fiends.
I don't think so. We were in Amsterdam and it was my birthday. This was a few years ago. And we were like, well, we have to, try some of the local produce when we're in Amsterdam. But every story, this was my first time in Amsterdam, and every story I'd ever heard from a friend or an acquaintance or anything is everyone always makes the same mistake, which is that they go to Amsterdam thinking they're all tough. And then they go in, they're like, give me... You got something called, like, the dragon that kills you?
It always starts with blue. It's like blue, the blue dragon, like X...
Yeah.
50.
And then they're like, and then I took this thing that they told me was the strongest weed in the world. And then for 5 days, I was in hell.
Yeah.
But then I woke up and it had actually been 6 minutes. But basically just had like a really bad time because it's just like, because, as is the case anywhere where like a drug is legal, it then gets way stronger because everyone's like, finally, we can really experiment. Long story short, Hannah and I walk into this smoke shop and I literally, no word of a lie, I said to the man, give me the weakest shit you have.
I was like, that's my husband.
That was basically what I said verbatim, right?
I literally verbatim, Benedict said that. It was a very lovely guy. We had to buy the spliff, and we had to also
Slang for jazz cigarette.
and then we also had to buy the lighter because obviously we don't own a lighter. We don't smoke. We don't smoke weed, and we don't smoke at all. So
Although I do think lighters are cool.
I think lighters are cool too.
I love a custom lighter.
Same.
I wish I had like the occasion to use a lighter.
My dream is to own like that one that's like a gun and then it like it's got one of the really fun flames.
Or there's like a jet of flame.
Mm-hmm. And I want to be out on the street and someone be like, hello mate, you got a light? And I'll go, let me just find it. And then I get out a silver little gun and then they're like, tss, and then they're like, cheers.
Sick.
That'd be sick. But
Nice.
I don't have any of that stuff and that's never happened to me. So yeah, you say basically verbatim, I want the weakest thing that you have.
Guessing, I will say correctly that one, what's considered weak in Amsterdam is probably going to be pretty decent. And two, like me and you are not weed people. We don't have a lot of like regular experience. Like it's going to knock us on our ass. You know what I mean? Like now, if this was, for example, a delicious can of Dr. Pepper, which I'm chugging on a daily basis.
You'd be fine.
I'd be fine. I'd be like, give me the pepperiest thing you've got.
But then the guy in the shop, like we basically said, we've never smoked. Like we don't know what to get. Help us, but make it weak. So then he then says, do you need me to roll it for you?
Yeah.
And to which we say, yes.
Because also, like, he's always going to do it better.
Yeah.
This is the whole thing.
So then he rolls it, but then he seems to have forgotten our conversation 2 minutes ago. So then he asks us what the weed is like in London, and then we feel a bit embarrassed. So then we start...
I was like, yeah, it's actually really good. I felt like Jay from the In-Betweeners. I was like, yeah, the puff in the UK is pretty good, actually.
Yeah, I deal to like a couple of 100,000 at festivals.
I'm going to do Glastonbury next year.
Yeah. We then start answering about what weed's like in London because, I don't know, I was like, sure, he's just forgotten that we told him that we don't smoke. So
I was also really charmed by like the guy who works in the weed shop. He wants to make weed small talk with you. He's like so in on that being his whole thing. It's not even like, are you having a nice time in Amsterdam? It's like, tell me the weed where you're from. This is my favorite thing. So then we smoked it, went back to the hotel, and then it was pretty strong.
Yeah.
You know, relatively speaking. And then did we also get those really like famous cookies that Amsterdam has?
no,
Was that the same day or was that a different day?
we've never got...
Yeah, not the weed cookies, like regular cookies.
Oh, I thought you
obviously.
said we went and got like space cakes. I was
Easy.
like, who were you with?
I'm not wearing a wire. Jesus Christ.
I was like, who were you with?
No, we got those really nice cookies.
Yes,
They were like really
they were
rich.
the viral TikTok cookies. They're literally just chocolate chip cookies.
It's funny to describe food as viral. That's such a disgusting thing that we do in the modern world. Anyway, then we went back to the hotel room, and then I remember turning on a movie. Ant-Man was on the TV.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember watching the beginning of it and the end of it, and I think I was just kind of zoned out in between. And then, because it was my birthday, there was a nearby cinema showing All of Us Strangers, the quite depressing Paul Mescal grief film. And we were like, let's watch a movie. So we watched that film. Which is like, that's an okay film, I think. Yeah, so we're basically criminals.
So, yeah. Well, no, we're not criminals. We did it in a legal country.
Yeah, but then this friendly man said to me, hey mate, do you think you could bring back these few bricks of powder through your luggage? And
Well, it was his grandmother's urn.
it was his grandmother's then, and I, being a naive 21-year-old Northern Irish bird, was like, I'd love to do that. And then it turns out that's illegal.
We are the Peru too.
I do feel bad, but it's always some like British person or Irish person, and they're always caught in like leaving Colombia, and it's like a comet. It's like £15 million worth of cocaine, and they're like, a guy just asked me to bring it through. It's like,
know though.
I know,
Well,
but like also like, how can you not comprehend that is like so illegal?
I think allegedly or whatever. The Peru 2 don't sue me. Like you know what you're doing, but the problem is you're told that it's all set up for you to get through, and the person like that's at the security knows what you're
They've
doing,
been bribed
and everyone's in it. And the thing is, what they could be doing is setting you up to be the person who gets caught.
Yep.
So there's actually someone going through with 100 million worth
Yeah.
of cocaine. So they catch you with, yes, you've got a large sum, but there could be someone else. You could be the fall guy, basically.
Yeah, that's the thing that we do. I mean, they do. But I just mean like, if someone said like, okay, here's like a small brick, I'll give you 20 grand, bring it through. I can imagine being young and dumb enough, not me personally, but I can imagine a person who might be young and dumb enough to be like, I could maybe do that. But when they've got like an entire suitcase, it's like, can you not comprehend that when you get caught, you will go to prison forever?
I know.
It's so illegal.
Well, actually, I do think the Peru 2 are out now. And I think one of them's a social media person.
I wasn't actually specifically talking about the Peru 2, but
But the Peru 2 is just such a good name. Like,
It
there's been
is.
so many people over the years who you know, or like you have been big case around that. But unless you have a tagline and a name, talk of the Townsends-esque, it's very hard to be like, wait, who was that individual name? Peru 2 is perfect. And one of them, I'm sure, is a influencer. I don't know what she's doing, but I think she's an influencer.
she's got loads of money somehow. We had a bit of a bumper movie week.
Literally, I've seen 7 movies this week?
Yeah, I mean, I know that you may think, is that not what you guys do all the time?
Yeah.
And to an extent, that is true. But just like there was a lot of new movie releases this week, which is also kind of wild for April. Although I say this for every month. I always just think movies only come out in July and Christmas, but I guess they must come out all the time. But we saw a real variety of movies this week, including at least 2 5-star movies, I would say.
I started the week Monday, I saw The Devil Wears Prada. Wednesday, I saw The Devil Wears Prada again.
The Devil Wears Prada 2.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I keep doing that. It's just easy to reel off The Devil Wears Prada.
It's 2.
I don't like adding the 2. Drop the 2. It's cleaner.
I kind of wish they'd done like a name. Fear the Devil Who Wears Prada or
The
something.
Devil Wears Prada.
The Devil Wears Prada.
The Devil Wears Prada would have been great.
Well, that's the comment I left on your video the other day.
Oh.
So that's where you've got that one from. But that would have been good.
Then we saw Mother Mary.
Yeah.
Then we saw Hokum.
And we saw Hokum,
And then we saw...
the Sheep Detectives.
Yep.
We not see something else this week?
That's what I think. I mean, we also watched Kiss Kiss Bang Bang last night.
That was fun.
Let's start with the Sheep Detectives, because I've seen a couple of our mates have already posted letterbox reviews with 2.5 stars.
No. First of all, I've said this before. I think people, and I love our friends, and I love Letterboxd, but I do think people are a bit weird about rating genre movies, which is to say any movie that isn't like an adult drama or like a crime thriller, right? Comedies, horror films, kids movies, family films, people can't comprehend the idea of giving them like 5 stars unless it's Finding Nemo or an exception. And my thing is, if a movie is totally successful and you basically wouldn't change anything about it, to me that's 5 stars.
Yeah.
I hate when people are like, it was good, it wasn't perfect, but it's good. It's like nothing's perfect. Remove the word perfect from your vocabulary. What are you talking about? And to me, I'm sorry, I thought Sheep Detectives was basically flawless.
Yeah.
Funny, it made us cry. The mystery is good. It actually weirdly has maybe the best animal CGI I've ever seen.
I agree with all of that. I mean, look, whatever our friends thought, you're allowed to not like a movie, but I was really shocked with the kind of 2.5 star ratings. I genuinely agree with you. Like, I thought it was basically a perfect movie for me. I can't think of one thing that I thought I would change. I thought it was like beautiful. Weirdly, when I was sat in bed last night, I was like, just thinking about it Sunday night, and I was just like thinking about it, and I just started to cry again. I just like started, my eyes just like filled with tears, and there were so many things I loved about it. I really don't feel like it was a movie that was like desperate for you to cry in the way a Marley and Me is.
No.
I also thought that it was, I can't speak on how kids would feel about it because I don't have a kids and I don't know any kids. So I don't know like how it would land with young kids, but I felt like it was a movie tailored to adults in the way that sometimes we see things and I'm like, it's a bit young for me. It's a bit too young. There's not enough here for me.
Yeah, but I think in the sense that there's something for everyone.
Yes.
As in adults can enjoy it too. Because we went to, the premiere was at like midday on a Sunday because they wanted kids there. And there were loads of kids there. There were tiny kids there. And they were really laughing. Because there's good comedy in this film. It's written by Craig Mazin, by the way, who wrote Chernobyl, which is really funny. He's a great writer and it's a very well written film. And what I really liked is, like, for example, Hollywood for the last, God knows, 20 years has been absolutely obsessed with the very brief phenomenon of the screaming goats from YouTube. Of like, isn't it really funny when a goat screams? It's like, no one ever really found that funny, but every kids film will have a scene where something screams like a goat.
Yeah.
This is a film set on a farm and they don't do that. And I'm like, the restraint it must have taken. I'm sure the studio was like, let's get a screaming goat in there. But there's no screaming goats, there's no farting.
No, burping. It's not gross toilet humor.
It's not loud. You know how kids' films sometimes are just like a fucking cacophony of just like loud, annoying noises.
Yeah.
But it's funny and it's silly. The kids were into it. It also unexpectedly has these really like deep messages about life and death and all this stuff, which I think are appropriate for kids. And I think would be actually quite educational for kids.
Yeah.
It's a real throwback film of like, you know how kids' films in the 80s and 90s would kind of deal with serious stuff.
Yeah, on that note, I like that they didn't bottle it in the way that like Elio was originally meant to be a queer story.
Yeah.
And then for whatever happened at the studios, they then didn't make it a queer story. And it fell a bit flat in terms of like, you don't really hear people talking about it. It was a nice movie and I had a good time watching it, but
It didn't have a core.
It wasn't bold enough. Whereas this has some quite bold scenes. They had some like sad grief scenes and not in the way that you are immediately expecting. Like, I think it was really beautiful. And I think taking that the kind of brave step out to do something like this means people will remember it.
Absolutely. And to be clear, like this film is really fun.
Yeah.
Like that's a sign of a good family movie that, like, you know, we were there and we were a bit like, I can't believe we're crying.
No.
You know, because look, on paper, it's called Sheep Detectives. It's about a shepherd who gets murdered and then the sheep get together to solve the crime. There is no reason why this film shouldn't be terrible.
Yes.
Right? It's such a nuts concept for a film. Even you look at the poster and it's just all these characters, all these sheep, and you think, what is this? And for it to be not only good, but like really excellent. I really do think it's excellent.
I
was so
agree.
charmed by it.
I agree. And at no point during it did I think, I wonder how long's left.
No.
The thing I really appreciated about the Sheep Detectives, and the problem I have with a lot of kids' films is we'll get to a point, and I've felt this way with some of the big hitters that people have absolutely loved, but it gets to a point.
Drag them.
It gets to a point where I'm like, okay, so now this person needs to go here to get the key to unlock the thing. Then we're going to get in, the town is saved, and then we're going to just have a nice closing shot of everyone together, and there'll be a nice music and thing at the end. And like when I can spell out beat for beat exactly what's going to happen, I can feel the run length of a movie. Even if it's a short run length, I'm just a little bit like, let's get there now.
And just because something is for children, it doesn't mean you have to be fully formulaic.
No.
Obviously, the nice thing about this is because it's a murder mystery.
Yeah.
You also have that ticking along, so you can't map out the ending in your head. But also, I feel like the film takes interesting diversions that I didn't see coming. It even has like kind of a good action sequence.
Yeah.
The film is also just very good at setting stuff up and paying it off, which I love. My brain loves that. The film is all nice setups at the beginning that don't feel clunky, and then clean resolutions at the end in a nice, tidy way. Don't know. Sheep Detectives, good.
Yeah, I've said it once, I'll say it again. We don't recommend things that we don't enjoy. I know going to the cinema, and especially for a family, is really expensive. Like, I genuinely loved watching this film. I would watch it again. I really, really loved it.
If you have a little one, I would definitely recommend it. I don't know how. I never know like what kids can take.
Yeah.
I don't know what age or whatever, but it's not that scary. It's maybe a little heavy here and there, so maybe don't take them if they're 1.
I don't know how it works with kids and at what age you introduce them to what, but they were warning a few of the parents before they went in. Like, there's a couple of quite distressing, sad scenes for the kids.
They're just like, there's a bit where one of the sheep is injured and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Know? But I'd recommend it to anyone with little ones, and to be honest, I would recommend it to an adult as well.
Yes.
If you want a really nice Sunday afternoon movie, I actually think it's charming. Now, on a weirdly, completely different note, another movie that I gave 5 stars this week, Hokum.
Oh, I also gave it 5 stars.
Did you?
Yeah.
High five. This is a new horror movie written and directed by Irish filmmaker Damien McCarthy and starring Adam Scott from Parks and Rec and from Severance and from You Talking You Two to Me. And it's really good, I would say.
I sometimes feel a little bit jaded when it comes to horror. We've seen so much horror. Hokum made me feel like I was 13 years old again. And I had we'd got the VHS from someone's older brother and we were watching something that we shouldn't be watching. We were far too young to watch. We were terrified. I was really, really scared.
It's the first film since Hereditary where I felt genuinely frightened. Because there's lots of different types of horror movie, and they're all scary. But some are so much different than others. Like when we saw Lee Cronin's The Mummy, that's a lot more of like a gross out kind of horror.
Yeah.
Or like a kind of more conventional jump scary horror. Like Hokum has jump scares, but Hokum is just so much more terrifying. There's so much more dread in Hokum.
Yeah.
We were genuinely you were looking away from the screen.
Yeah.
Here's a sign of how scary it is, by the way. We got sent a screener and you had to log into it, and basically you couldn't stream it to your TV, I think for piracy reasons or whatever. So basically we watched this movie on a laptop.
Yeah.
And we were terrified.
We had 3 attempts to watch the movie, basically, and we tried mirroring it to our TV. So we loaded it up, tried mirroring it to the TV, and then it refreshed. Then we tried again doing it another way, and it refreshed. We were like, this might be our last watch. So we were like, we're gonna just have to watch it on the laptop. Because originally, do you remember, we were gonna put it up on my phone and then try and mirror it.
Yeah.
So then we might have been watching it on a small phone screen, but luckily we watched it on the laptop. And that is it was so impactful on a laptop.
Yeah, and it was really funny because the laptop was propped up just in front of the TV. Just the TV behind just mocking us while we were watching on this tiny screen.
The cat was looking at us like, what are you doing? I think what Hokum does well is, 1, sound design. I think this is what makes it scary. I think 1, sound design. It's brilliant at using silence and sharp little fast noises that are are scary. And two, you're never quite sure what you're afraid of. And this is, we spoke a little bit about The Mummy. The problem with The Mummy is
Who's Mummy?
Lee Cronen's The Mummy.
Thank you.
The problem I found with The Mummy is they showed us what the little girl looked like straight away. So when I know what to be afraid of, I think it's less scary. I've seen it. And yes, it can be scary if someone's running towards you or there's a big, her face suddenly jumps out. But not knowing is very scary to me.
Yeah, it's the classic Jaws thing, right? The less you see the shark.
Yeah, I mean,
the
Jaws
scarier.
famously has like only a few minutes of sharks in. And
Yeah, Lee Cronen's The Jaws. But this is also clever because and this isn't a spoiler at all, but there are multiple things that are scary in this film.
Yes.
And once a thing is established, there's new scary things.
Yeah.
Because the problem is once you see a scary face at one point, and it really is a really awful scary face that really got me. But the problem is once you have a little bit more time to look at the face and you can actually read it, it becomes less scary because you understand what it is.
Yeah.
But then the film's like, haha, we have 5 more scary faces coming up. Adam Scott is really good.
Adam Scott's brilliant in it. We're actually talking to the director tomorrow. We need to write our questions. We're talking to the director tomorrow about the film. We're so excited. We've got 10 minutes with him. And I'm chuffed.
When you see a movie you genuinely really like and then you get to talk to the writer-director, that's great.
Absolutely.
Because they know everything.
Also so fun to talk about horror.
It is. We're in such a golden moment for horror.
Love horror.
How much good horror has there been in the last 5 years? In a little, on my favourite horror channel, The News.
Ooh.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Suki's clapping behind me.
She's clapping.
She's clapping, actually. And she is clapping.
Yeah, she's clapping. That's right. My cat's a woman.
I think by the time this comes out, we won't be able, the embargo for Devil Wears Prada probably hasn't lifted. So we're probably not going to talk about the Devil Wears Prada in this little pod.
Yeah. Can we talk about Mother Mary?
Oh yeah, we could talk about Mother Mary.
Here's the thing about Mother Mary. Written and directed by David Lowery, right? Who is a filmmaker I think is very cool. He made The Green Knight, which is one of a few films. There's a few films that I'm obsessed with. I want to ask you this question in a sec, actually. There's films you like, there's films you love, and then there's films that you are just kind of obsessed with that just stay in your brain. And The Green Knight is one of those for me, and so is Civil War by Alex Garland, where you just find yourself thinking about it. Because of how it looks and all of that. And The Green Knight is super weird and was super divisive when it came out because it's just, he has such a singular thing he does, David Lowery. And so going into Mother Mary, I was very aware that it would be an uncompromising thing he would be doing. And you're either on the wavelength or you're not. I respect that about him. I did not find myself particularly on the wavelength for it, to be honest with you. But it's one of those things where it's I can't say that this film is bad. It's more that just everyone's on a different ride to me. And I feel like the people who want that ride will probably be into it. But I'm not looking for that ride. Is that vague enough?
Yeah, I feel a bit similar in this one. I think, it's weird. Everyone's good. It looks great. It just, for me, it didn't bring it home in a way that felt, and I don't need a complete story. I heard people with the ending of the drama say they felt annoyed that it wasn't clear, and I don't mind an ambiguous ending, and I don't mind
That's funny because I think the drama actually had a relatively straightforward ending in that something happened and it was that's an ending.
Yes, but it didn't say is she good or is she bad. It didn't answer those questions. It didn't answer of if it didn't tell you beat for beat, had she not had circumstances happen to her, would she have actually gone through with it? So I think that's what they're saying about that.
Sure, I get that.
I don't mind kind of things that are left up in the air, but you have to drive. Halfman does a wonderful job of this. It's leaves, you're kind of left to your own conclusions. It just didn't land anything for me. Nothing landed. I think everyone was good. I think there was probably too much of the stage singing of Anne Hathaway. It wasn't one for me.
It's a really curious film. If you don't know, it's about this pop star called Mother Mary, who is sort of a amalgam Taylor Swift, Lady Gaga. She's superstar, pop star. And Anne Hathaway's Mother Mary, and then Michaela Cole plays this collaborator, and they created the character of Mother Mary together, and then they sort of had this creative breakup, and now they're coming back together and whatever. And so the film is half the film is the two of them talking in a barn. And then half the film, well, not even half the film, like a small part of the film is these like huge Eras Tour style performances.
Yeah.
And it's such a crazy, jarring contrast between the two. And I did come out of it thinking like, who specifically is this film for? Because the people who would be into the Eras Tour stuff, I imagine probably find the barn stuff quite dull. And the people who are super into the like long barn conversations would probably be kind of like baffled by the Eras Tour stuff.
Yeah.
As someone who kind of likes both, but I'm like, but I kind of respect it because it's for one person, which is David Lowery. He made the film he wanted to make.
It felt like a play. And that's the problem. I came out of it and I said to you, I can't think of one person that I would turn to and say, you have to go and see Mother Mary. Because sometimes I can go into something and be like, it wasn't for me, but I'll tell you who would love that.
Yeah.
Or like, my dad would really have enjoyed that, but I couldn't think of a single person who I thought that would be for them. And that for me.
Our friend India said she loved it, to be fair.
Yeah.
There will be people. I can see it's one of those films, a bit like me with The Green Knight, where I think certain people will be like, oh, hell yeah. This is extremely my shit.
It just wasn't mine.
But that's not gonna happen in a mainstream way. But I guess maybe they're not expecting that with this kind of film.
No, but then you've got the draw of the big stars. I guess that will just pull in a wider audience, but...
Yeah, I guess like Anne Hathaway has big fans. I mean, you can see why Anne Hathaway and Michaela Cole did it. It's such a juicy bit of performance for both of them. And Michaela Cole is so good.
Oh, she is just incredible to watch.
She is such an amazing screen presence. Just such an interesting face. You can't look away from Michaela Cole and just like the way she enunciates. And so yeah, interesting film. I'm glad I saw it. But Sheep Detectives, baby.
Can we finish by just quickly talking about Halfman?
Yeah, please. Oh, we've been so treated lately with with content.
We also need to talk about Beef season 2 at some point, but we'll come back to that.
We'll come back to that.
Beef heads, stay with us. We'll be back with
Cows at ease.
Halfman is getting such a range of reviews from 5-star to 1-star. It's very polarizing, which I wouldn't have thought the writer, Richard Gadd, is that surprised by. It's not going to be for everyone, and it might not land for everyone. It certainly landed for me. I thought, I was like blown away by it.
We absolutely loved it. We finished the whole thing. We were fortunate to see it a little bit ahead of time. But it's the kind of thing where even as we're watching it, you're like, this is going to be divisive. It's so unrelenting in the way that Baby Reindeer could be as well.
Yes.
Like it really doesn't. No one's saying unalive in Halfman.
No.
Do you know what I mean? It's pretty brutal. And at times it feels a bit like, are they almost going too far with this? But I think it always keeps it within the bounds of it makes sense for the story, for these bad things to be happening. It's about these two men. And one of them is just like a real menace, basically. And he becomes the sort of adopted brother of the main guy. And he's much more kind of timid. And so you have this like alpha male violent guy and this much more timid guy who enter into this very weird like brotherhood, even though they're not biological brothers. And then it's just about how they grew up together and kind of ruin each other's lives. And it's told from both the perspective of them as kids and as adults, Richard Gadd playing the older version of the dangerous guy.
And the hashtag themes would be, it's very like toxic masculinity. It's all about masculinity and how masculinity looks in different forms.
Absolutely. And, obviously that's a hot button topic at the moment, but I think it handles it really well because it's not like, if I may use a good word, it's not too didactic. It's not like forcing something down your throat and being like, this means this. No one ever turns to them, to the camera and goes like, this is what men are all about. It's all pretty ambiguous, deliberately so. And I like that. There's kind of this idea. I took the title to mean that, each of them are like half of a man. And in a way, sort of each represents like what half of like manhood is, because one of them is the ultra macho, one of them is the more sensitive. But even that, the show is not like so clean about.
No, there's not one little line that sums that up that makes that super clear. At no point is he like, I'm half of me and half of you, which a lesser show could very much do.
The bit where the villain turns to Batman and goes, we're not so different, you and I.
Yeah. It's never like that. I thought it was like beautifully shot. I thought the writing was brilliant. Thought I like really cared for both of the characters.
Absolutely.
Which is hard to, always do these days, especially with two extreme characters. Felt like I was really like invested in both of their stories.
I think also we made a clip recently talking about Beef, and we mentioned Halfman in that, where it's like, I want my drama series to have drama, by which I mean not like one overarching thing, like will they catch the killer? You want drama to be happening all the time. And like when you have small stakes in the grand scheme, small stakes, personal drama happening and being resolved, and a new, you know, in Halfman, there's a new problem every 10 minutes. And that's so compelling, and it draws you in so much more than like the world is ending or anything like that, because it's so human, even though the stakes might be really low of like, what if a person becomes embarrassed or something? But you get so much more invested in them. And like Halfman, in that kind of intoxicating way that Baby Reindeer did, does that thing of like things just keep getting worse and worse. And that kind of is mesmerizing as an audience member. And it also means that the few times where things go well, it's so much sweeter, you know, because nothing's clearly resolved.
I think the negative reviews I've seen are like, is it just kind of trauma porn?
Yeah.
And I think it's weird to be able to be like, I could see how you could think that. Like, I actually can understand that as a criticism of it. But like, I think like masculinity in modern day is very extreme. I think like what we're seeing is, you know, things like Inside the Manosphere, like that is an incredibly extreme. These men have incredibly extreme views on women and on manhood. Like, okay, yes, you know, because it's a fictional story, but it's very violent in the real world and very extreme. So yeah.
And it very explicitly deals with like cycles of violence and about how people who have been victimized can often become perpetrators themselves, and how messy that is.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing that happens in this show that doesn't happen in the real world. Do you know
No.
what I mean? Like, you might want to shy away from it, but it can be an ugly old world out there, and this show is a reflection of that.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? It's not like there's nothing far-fetched.
Yeah.
It's hard, like difficult watch at times, but I do think everything is justified within the story. But I get why people, you know, your mileage may vary,
Yeah.
but I think it's undoubtedly just a really well-written piece.
Aligned.
Peace.
Peace. And on that note, peace out. Have we got any more little
Have you got
stories?
any personal stories? The alarm hasn't gone off as much lately, which is good. I also want to shout out any of our lovely listeners or friends who may have run the London Marathon.
Oh, yes. Congratulations.
I don't know when this is going to come out, but congratulations to you. We were walking through town after Sheep Detectives, and it was so nice seeing people with their little medals.
It was indeed.
And I said congratulations to a guy on the train. I love doing that.
Can I just also shout out to someone else who's achieved something amazing?
I'm right here, Han.
The Talk of the Townsends Instagram hit 40,000 followers. And I know that if you're listening to this and you're an OG fan, you will understand how insane that is. We were chugging 200 followers, like not even, for so long, years.
Hannah made it her personal project to... Because it really felt like rolling a boulder up a hill at one point.
Yeah.
We were throwing videos at Instagram.
And just it felt a little bit embarrassing because like the people who did
100%.
follow, God bless them, were like you guys and like our friends. And I was like, God, they're just being inundated with like, you know, 0 likes, 10 views.
Truly 0 likes, 0 comments. Like no one was engaging with that content for months.
Yeah, a year. I would say over a year.
So Hannah, well done with that.
Well, no, I wasn't just calling me out. I was more thanking everyone.
Thank you very much for following
Yeah,
us.
if you are, I wasn't just saying, should we take a moment to appreciate me? I was more saying, like, if you have hit follow on that Instagram, thank you, thank you, thank you. That is so kind.
Ladies and gentlemen, me. I'm Benedict Townsend.
And I've been Hannah Townsend.
Thank you so much for listening. Make sure to follow the podcast if you haven't already to get new episodes first and to support us. It'd be lovely if the podcast could also have 40,000 followers or however it works with podcasts. Wouldn't that be nice?
Bye.
Love you.
Bye.